So, happy Friday! It is our Places We Go topic today, and I often write about all the different places that we're going to venture to during the festive period on this entry, but this year the only particular location we'll be going would be on Christmas Day, and it's a family location, and that will already be in my album because I'll have plenty of photos from Christmas Day. So instead of duplicating that, I wanted to find a different way around this, and I'm going to use today's entry to document how it is our last Christmas in this house, because next Christmas we'll be in the new place. Right now we're kind of in transition. So I decided that that would be how I would take the places we go, meaning between now and next Christmas. And for this page I'm using a cut file, again a Christmas tree themed one from the Silhouette store, and it's meant to be a full 12 by 12 background, but I just cut it at 6 by 8. I didn't actually shrink it, I just took out the extra stuff so that I would still have my paper left, and then trimmed this to 6 by 8. Now one thing I did do was I trimmed in a little bit from these edges, because to get the cut file to print or to cut really nicely, it has a little bit of a margin, because if you were kind of cutting off the edge, it has a tendency to kind of catch and fall off. So I tend to leave a margin when I'm cutting something, but then I trimmed it so that I have trees going off the background on every side, so that it doesn't feel like it goes off in two directions and not in the other, because that feels very disturbing to my eye. But that means then that I need something behind. If I'm going to put all different papers behind these, I need some solid piece behind there so that I can have a nice straight edge. So I think you could do this without the bit of extra cardstock there, and you could just take your time at getting these edges where it's cut nice and solid and straight and stable. But the easiest way, in my opinion, is to just cut a 6 by 8 block, lay this over the top, so that when you are done putting your pieces here, you lay this on top, turn it over, and you trim off anything that goes outside this white 6 by 8, because that's going to be a much easier line to follow than that. So there we go. So you won't end up seeing this. You can use a scrap of a paper that you don't like if you want. It's going to be all covered up. And what I'm going to do is just fill in everything with scraps of the papers in my kit. And I need a pencil and some scissors and some adhesive. That's what I need to do this. And of course my scraps. So I'm just going to start by taking the different patterns that are here on my desk. And away we will go. So you can use little blocks like this. Sometimes I do need a pencil, sometimes I don't. So in this case, I don't need to trace it. I can just make this into a box. And then my adhesive goes this direction. So that can go on there, put it down here to keep it nice and stable, this up to that edge, and then if there's anything here, this piece is going into another tree, then I take that off. Yeah? So then that tree is filled, and I just repeat this process with all different scraps of paper. So how about layers of wood grain? Why not? So I can put this one in here. And just keep going.
Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are you in all sorts of pattern paper.
there are all the patterns in my trees. I'm now going to gold mist right across the horizontal line quite liberally, generously, so that it will have lots of sparkle. Then I'm going to let this dry before I add anything to the top. Mist is all dry now, and I've got a choice of photos. I actually printed a 4x6 with 4 different photos on it. 2 of them Christmas tree photos that I thought would be a good match for here. And I purposely used one nighttime and one daytime so that I could see what contrast I would want, and I much prefer this lighter photo for this particular layout. You will definitely see this photo or one very similar to it later in my album or somewhere else in the album, but I'm going to use this one for this particular page. And I'm going to use a piece of journaling paper just about the same size. So I'm just going to use my photo as a little guide. But I've been tearing the journaling paper, so I'm going to take that edge, tear that, and then I'm going to find my spot to add these. Now, this means that some of the paper that I've put in those trees is going to get covered up. Here's why I try not to worry about it too much. Something like this, I've used pieces of all different papers that appear throughout my album. So even if I cover it up here, it's going to show up somewhere else. So that's okay. And that helps me to worry about it a little less. Now, writing on top of that lumpy bumpy of the cutout is going to be difficult, as would stamping on it. So I'm going to journal off the page and then put it on. But here's what I'm going to do. Set that aside. Figure out how this little cluster of photo and journaling and everything else is going to go together. I'm going to put my number straight onto the photo using my gold thickers. And this is journaling that I'm going to write just a little bit where it can be seen. And then this is a topic that will come up in the type of journaling that I don't leave on display, and the kind that I do a whole page and tuck behind, because this is still very much about writing for me, and sometimes I want to write just personal thoughts, and moving house and all of that sort of thing is something that just strikes me as something that I'll want to write about before the month is up, and then I would tuck it behind the page. That one looks like it'll fit right about there. Yeah, and then I can put my journaling in this spot here. So here's this all journaled and numbered. I can find a spot to put it right on top. Still tell that everything there is meant to be trees. I thought I would add a little heart in here, but I need to find one that's going to be a good color match for what's on that page, and I think this turquoise one is going to look quite nice. So I'm going to put that right in that empty spot there. And I'm going to leave it like that. Part of me is wanting to grab some enamel dots that are not in the kit and kind of dot them around. There's a day near the end of the project where I kind of go through my album and decide if there's anything else I want to add to different pages, so that might be something that gets added later. But for now, that's how I'm going to leave it, with all those lovely patterns in the background. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great weekend, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.